last night while lecturing someone who made an honest mistake about LaMelo Ball's All-Star votes. I thought he had the most. An elite committee of nerds, analysts, and people who might go to tonight's Royals-White Sox game, where tickets are literally $4, bro. Good seats. Yes, good seats. Fought and toiled and burned the midnight oil to deliver the best segment in all of sports television. It's an honor and it's a privilege. It's time for a playoff edition of Knicks Tears.
Listen, KW.
Yeah?
I knew you and I yesterday had a rocky day, in part because of your dedication to LaMelo Ball being the face of the league based on faulty precinct data. So I came to you in your office today with an olive branch, which was to show you that, yes, you actually can get into Kauffman Stadium tonight. No, it's actually $2.
$2.
$4 for good ones.
$2?
$2 for bad seats, $4 for good ones.
Good seats.
That's unbelievable.
$21 for amazing seats.
It's more of an indictment on the White Sox.
It was not, so you could then use it against me and continue your major market East Coast pomposity.
How much is it to park?
To park at Kauffman?
Free?
Might be more to park.
No, it's not
for
free.
some of those tickets.
You know what? $20.
$20
I know
and my
people
ticket's
got
$4?
I know people got really mad when they raised parking at Arrowhead. Really mad. But it doesn't matter. Nobody cares about that. Point was, you're not supposed to use that against me on the air.
Well,
it was an olive branch to you.
The stadium for Bobby Witt Jr.
To the Tears, 8 teams left. This one pains me. And I feel badly for the great city and the people of the great city of the Rust Belt that is Cleveland, Ohio. Bottom of the Tears.
Thank you for your
No problem. Curse of Broussard.
Oh, see?
I mean,
I had nothing to do with the injuries.
Everything was going great.
True.
Until all of a sudden we got a button. We got Cleveland this for you. Since then, they lose home court advantage. Guys who we didn't even know were hurt are missing the game. And on top of that, they lose a game in truly historic fashion.
Yeah.
Next row.
I might even have to agree with that.
We want to believe. And by we, I mean NBA fans collectively whose teams are out of it.
Yeah.
Because what is the truth is, most NBA fans, and I'm talking about all NBA fans who are under 50 years old, don't remember a time the Knicks were great. We remember a time they were good, and we remember a couple of years they were fun and interesting. But we just heard about the Knicks being great like we heard about Wilt's 100-point game. We believe it happened, but we have no proof of it. And so because of that, it's not like the Yankees where people outside of New York just dislike them. Like, they have too much success. I think people who've never lived in New York or rooted for the Knicks like the idea of Madison Square Garden hosting big, important basketball games.
Are excellent.
Right. And so I don't think we are going to be able to, I don't think America believes yet, but one more win, just one win in the next 3 games, and they will.
They're also led by a 6-foot point guard who's basketball-wise has been rags to riches.
Yeah.
You know, and just built himself into this superstar player. So, that's fine.
All right, next row, every game matters. The Warriors. I remember that game against the Spurs? Harrison Barnes game. That had real impact in them falling potentially into the play-in. And then game 82 against the Clippers, which then knocked them into the play-in. And then they give away a game 5 against Houston and then just get outworked in a game 6 against Houston. And all of a sudden, they are playing their 8th playoff game, their 5th in the last 10 days. And yes, they won it, but the engine of their offense, one of the greatest players in NBA history, the best player in franchise history with respect to Wilt, he comes up lame for the first time in his career on a non-contact, surprising muscle strain. And listen, I can't prove that injury doesn't happen if they beat Houston in 5, but I don't think it does. And I can't prove that they would have not gone 7 had they gotten higher in the seeding, but I don't think they do. And so I think that we are seeing the end result potentially in some of the faltering late in the year by Golden State. Next tier, still disrespected.
Yeah.
They're up 2-0. They have had two of the most stunning comebacks, literally, in playoff history in the last week. And I still don't think anyone actually thinks they can win the championship. Right? Like,
no.
I don't think anybody thinks, oh yeah, well guys, there's 8 teams left. They're likely going to be one of 4 teams left. Do they have any shot of winning the title? Of course not. Like, no.
I think part of it, they benefited from injury. Last year, it was injuries that, I'm not saying, I don't think they would have got to the conference finals, but for some of the injuries they benefited from. And then obviously Cleveland now is.
The flip side, Pacer fans are saying we would have been in the NBA finals if not for our injury to Tyrese Halliburton. And I think they're wrong, but I don't know they're wrong.
They got a great coach.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm with you.
Avoid disaster. So here's what I mean. After beating the Lakers, after having the great turnaround the final third of the season, I think the Timberwolves, they weren't quite on a reputational free roll, but they were in a spot where if they lost a hard-fought series to Golden State, I don't think anybody would be like, what happened to the Timberwolves this year? I think people would have been like, okay, you know what I mean? They didn't make the conference finals again, but they're in a good position. Now that Steph is out and they lost game 1, losing this series would be a disaster.
Absolutely.
And so the stakes changed on them quickly. Oddly, losing to the Lakers would not have been a disaster, but beating the Lakers and then losing to the Warriors without Steph would be. All right, this one is, I had to blink twice when I did it, but it's fine. Akeem 2.0, question mark. Here's what I mean. So Akeem Olajuwon's the greatest international player of all time, and I think oddly has become, as of late, underrated by a lot of people as far as how great he really was. And Akeem Olajuwon won his second championship by rolling through the league MVP, who he watched win the league MVP before their playoff series in front of him, and then baptize him in David Robinson to the tune of, I think, 41, 12, 8, 5, and 4.
Killed him.
And then beat up Shaq in the finals and cemented himself as an all-time legend, 2-time champion, and one of the greatest players of all time. And it was for a team that was the 6th seed that was not that great all year. Granted, they added Clay. Are we going to see that again with Nikola Jokic? They didn't make a trade for a player. They fired their coach mid-season. They didn't have a great regular season. They weren't the juggernaut they were when they won their first championship. But can Joker, the power of himself, the best player in the league, carry them to a title? Maybe. This is for you, bro. Grow up quickly. The Oklahoma City Thunder. And by that, I mean, right now they're my pick to win the championship. I think they've been the best team. I think they clearly have the best resume, and I think they deservingly have the league MVP. I also think that you saw their lack of not maturity but experience on display at the end of game 1, and now they don't really have a margin of error left in this series. They can regain it by winning this series, but they're going to have to grow up very quickly, because Nikola Jokic, I think, is going to look at tonight's game as, we can take firm control of this series by winning tonight. And then, KW, I think you'll like this. I don't know. Top the tiers, your Boston Celtics. The name you might not like. Must win Wednesday.
Yeah, that's true.
They have to win today.
Yeah, I think so.
And it's not because, Brew, if they don't win today, they can't win the series. It's because if they don't win today, we will know definitively what I have wondered all year. Are they just not as good as they were last year? Last year, they never trailed in the series. They never went 6 games, right?
Yeah, they didn't lose 2 games.
Even
going back to the previous year. They've won 5 series.
No, it would basically make it look like, oh, this is an even series. Even though the Knicks would be up 2-0, you would be like, okay, Knicks got a real chance to win. Like, at that point.
But even if they were to come back from being down 0-2, you would feel like this is a team that is not
be had.
That is not the juggernaut it was last year. It's the team it showed us it was all year, which is a really good team. The 2 seed can win the championship, but not this team that has an extra gear that it can get to. That's how you'll feel if they lose tonight. Therefore, it is a must-win Wednesday.
That's fair.
I'm going to move Denver. As I said yesterday, I think they win this series against OKC. So I'm moving Denver ahead of OKC. Look, they have, with Shea's going to win MVP. He did get my vote, and I think he rightly will win MVP. But the best player in the series is Jokic. All right? Those young boys, Chet, and he's not really young, that young, Hartenstein, like, they have no answer for Jokic inside, and maybe even Aaron Gordon. And so I think the Nuggets can play bully ball with them and bully them.
You don't think Hartenstein can provide some resistance?
I don't think, no. More than Chet, but
yeah.
Not really. I mean, like, Zubac, you saw, gave Jokic some trouble, even though Jokic still put up great numbers. But no, he's going to have a field day. Playoff Jamal is back. Even though he only had, 6 for 16, I think, in game one, but still over 20 points. He's back. They've stolen home court.
Yeah.
All right, they're obviously up 1-0. And I just think, look, never in the history of the NBA has a team this young gotten to the finals. I keep saying that, and it's falling on deaf ears. Because here's the thing. I think you guys will agree with this. Winning 65, 68, heck, 70, if they would have done that, 60, it's not what it used to be. I'm not trying to shoot down the league, but it's not what it used to be because so many stars miss games. Like, when guys routinely play 80 games, you knew that record meant something. Unless a team like when LeBron sometimes with the Cavs in his second iteration, they weren't going all out necessarily in the regular season. But now to win 6, how many of those games did the number 1 or number 2 player not play? You know what I mean? Like, that happens a lot today with load management or guys just being hurt or whatever it is. So, and Cleveland won 64. And I get it, the injuries are a big reason they look like they're going to get bounced, but still, even without that, they probably aren't as good as a 64-win team. So I'm moving Denver ahead of OKC on the tiers.
Listen, I can't get on board with that as of yet. What I will say is this. The Thunder, I would argue, it's now 3 straight playoff games that they haven't played playoff caliber basketball. They were down 30 to Ja, and Ja got hurt, and now they to their credit, they played playoff caliber coming back in that game. And then game 4 without Ja, that comes down to the waning moments. And then this first game against Denver, they lose. And so
and Nick, they were 14-10 against the other top 7 seeds in the West.
Right. And
so they didn't run through other great and really good teams.
So they were 54-4 against everybody else, which is they were a juggernaut against everyone else.
They should be.
Yes.
Right.
The whole East and everyone else.
I'm ready to make it official. I'm going to move the Warriors ahead of the Wolves. And here's why. I got 3 reasons. Defense, vibes, and a thought exercise. I'll start with the thought exercise, okay? Just if you want to close your eyes at home or if you're on the set, feel free. Imagine that the Jimmy Butler trade never happened, okay? And Steph was hurt. Do you want to close your eyes, Brew, or no?
I guess so.
And Steph hurt his hamstring in the waning minutes of Game 7 against the Rockets. And then Adam Silver said, you know what? There's so many conspiracies about the league. I'm just going to lean in and put my thumb on the scale. I am making a proclamation to benefit the Warriors that Jimmy Butler is now on the Warriors. Everybody like, what? Jimmy Butler's on the Warriors now? Yes, because Steph is out, Jimmy Butler's on the Warriors. Like, oh my gosh, do they have a chance? And I'm not done. Because it's not fair that the Warriors have lost Steph Curry, they automatically get to win Game 1 against the Wolves. You'd be like, so we would come in today, it's like, holy cow, brand new news. Steph is out, but they won game 1 automatically, and now Jimmy Butler is on the Warriors. Like, what? He is? Like, yeah, he found his joy. Then would you give the Warriors a chance? We would be like, yeah,
no,
they can do it. For why? Here's why. Defense. We know that Jimmy Butler and Draymond, great defense. Game 7 at Houston, where Jimmy Butler in this case wasn't on that team, but now for this graphic he actually was. Jimmy Butler is great, obviously. They played 8 playoff games. They've held their opponents to under 90 points 3 times. Number 2, Draymond. Draymond all of a sudden became Steph Curry, started making threes.
Well, that actually concerns me.
Yeah, he's not going to do that again.
Half, but he had a little bit of offensive.
He took the backpack off and shot normally.
And I know that we're probably do I think old Draymond, where you're like looking at like he was scoring 20 points in the finals?
Well, the year they won 73 games,
he was third.
In the finals he scored 32. In Game 7 of the finals he scored 32.
What
the year they won 73 games, he shot 38% from 3 that year.
He averaged 16
on the board.
Yeah.
On the board. Okay, final one. You know I'm a vibes guy.
Mm-hmm.
The vibes are through the roof.
Fantastic vibes. You know what? I'm with you. Golden State 7. No, those are great vibes.
Great vibes.
Something.
Okay.
It's a long argument, I know.
I got it. No, that was great. Best parts were when they were talking. Again, someone tenuous ground. I want to make sure I have this right.
Yeah, go.
Are you picking the Warriors to win put the camera on Wildes, please. To win the series?
Yes, I am this time.
Really?
It's an official pick.
What do you mean by that?
You are right now saying to America, you believe the Golden State Warriors in 2025 are going to be playing in the Western Conference Finals.
I believe it, or it's an official
That's
pick?
your official pick.
Yes, I'm officially picking the Warriors.
Wow.
We'll see what happens, how it plays out.
Just
say what happens when Jimmy gets hurt.
No.
Yes, I think
you are that
I'm
you
picking
will get
the Warriors.
All right, listen.
I'm a Warriors guy now.
All right,
okay?
you get credit. If
I've
they
been
win,
every team.
If they win, you will get credit.
Yes, John, are you okay?
This is you'll
I'm
get
picking
credit.
the Warriors.
This is
for the
similar
record, again
to what
like I picked them at the end of the last. Did you get that tape?
The Wildes, you did it. You did do it, but we were off the air.
Oh, is that true?
Yes. You said it when we
Convenient.
were off the air. Go ahead.
Wow, you are out there on the limb.
Wow.
But
the argument does make sense.
Great. The argument makes. I wouldn't even be mad if you were right, because I.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.